Welcome back to part 7 of our live training session here with our supercharged K20 NSX. Now, in the last few tutorials, we completed the calibration process from start to finish on petrol fuel. We have a flex fuel sensor installed on our NSX here, and we're going to be putting in ethanol fuel now and learning how to do the calibration process with flex fuel based type of control with our Infinity. We have a lot to cover. Let's jump in so we can check this out. Welcome back to our live training session here with our supercharged K20 NSX. Now, the last few tutorials we focused on getting the engine to fire up and run, tuning the idle, tuning the part throttle, tuning full throttle for both low and high cam, sorting out the variable cam timing, doing all of the knock control, setting up all the fail-safe protections. We have everything configured. So right now this can start up and run perfect on pump gas. However, we want to put it in a little bit. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's get starting up. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to our live training session here with our supercharged K20 NSX running on AEM Infinity. The last few tutorials we looked at the pump gas calibration process, starting from idle, part throttle, wide open throttle tuning, doing both low and high cam, sorting out the variable cam control, everything in between. So everything on this car has been properly calibrated from cold start all the way into full throttle on petrol fuel. We're now going to take a look at doing a flex fuel based tune. We have a flex fuel sensor, we have that wired and configured into the Infinity, we've tested that already, and we're going to take a look at going in and how we can deal with flex fuel, how we can go in and calibrate and tune with it, and what kind of power we're going to make when we're running with a higher octane fuel that has a better cooling effect than petrol. Now, all the power gains we're going to find when we're dealing with a flex fuel type of control or ethanol is going to be generally from spark timing. We can run more spark timing compared to petrol fuel because we have higher octane, we have a better cooling effect, and if we were turbocharged and we had control over the boost to turn up the boost, we'd be able to run more boost. Essentially, we can run more controlled cylinder pressure with ethanol fuel compared to petrol fuel, and therefore we can run and make more horsepower and torque out of the engine. We have to go in and set up things very specific in order to work with flex fuel with the Infinity, which we have again already, but we're going to cover and go over that here in the first portion of the tutorial, and then we'll jump in to fire up the engine and actually doing the tuning process. It's actually really easy. Within probably 2 or 3 pulls, we should have things nailed down. Let's jump in and talk about what we have configured here and talk about what we're going to do in the calibration process. So first thing, we've set up a flex fuel sensor. If we go into wizards, setup wizard, and we jump down in here, jump down to input function assignment, and we look here under our speed and frequency. Under the flex fuel input, the flex fuel sensor input, we have it set into the digital 3 input. We can see right now where we're at. We have set the scale up here. That's the default scale, that as soon as you turn on the sensor, it's going to work. It has a 125 hertz signal coming out of the flex sensor. It's a 50 to 150 hertz linear range of sensor movement, or the output from the sensor, based on the ethanol content. So 50 hertz is 0 ethanol content. 150 hertz is 100% ethanol content. In this case, we're seeing 125, so it's giving us 75% ethanol content. Now, I did drain the fuel out of the fuel system here. We'll talk about how I did that in a little bit, and I put ethanol in the fuel system, so we can see right now we do have this 75% blend. So that's where we're at in terms of ethanol content. So the ethanol sensor is the first thing you need to have in order to do the flex fuel tune and flex fuel control. We do have also under our injector setup, we've specifically told the Infinity that we're flex fuel based, that looks at the flex fuel sensors and then allows us to use our blending function between our ignition timing and our Lambda tables in order to work with this particular flex fuel amount. Now, when we also select this flex fuel, it's going to also look up the stoichiometric value at the ethanol content we're at, which has a background multiplier, which is essentially scaling the injector pulse with up or down based on the ethanol content at idle, part throttle, and wide open throttle. Now, it's important when you do your calibration that you have the flex fuel sensor installed when you do your 91 or 93 octane, so it can register the ethanol amount and it can scale out the fuel tables and account for that in the actual air and fuel model. So we've done that already, and we've had this sensor installed since the beginning when we calibrated all of those tables out. But that's going to be the importance of selecting it right here. Now, further than that, if we jump in here to our Lambda, we have a Lambda target table 1, Lambda target table 2. Lambda target table 1, that means that we're going to be essentially sourcing these lambda targets when we're on pure petrol fuel. Lambda target table 2 is when we're sourcing these targets when we're on ethanol, pure ethanol. What we're going to do here is just set our targets the exact same between the fuels. So let's go here and just copy these tables. I like to make sure that they're the same. I don't like to vary my targets between ethanol and petrol fuel. So copy paste. Let's do Shift Control C and commit that change to the ECU. We can see here the Lambda Flex Blend table, 0% ethanol is 0, so it's a value of 0 here means it's riding on the first Lambda target table, and a value of 1.0 is 1. That means that we're riding on 1.0 is 100% ethanol. It means we're using the Lambda targets all from our Lambda target table 2. So we've made the tables the same and essentially bypassed what this is showing here. I don't want to go and vary my Lambda targets, although you could if you wanted to. I don't find it highly beneficial to do that. Now, a few other things here. Let's jump into our spark tuning. We have our spark timing table. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.